Hi there, I'm Banshee, welcome to my domain. So, I am here tonight to right some fictional wrongs. It appears that some people like to write history to portray themselves as the heroes of the stories when really, they're all just a bunch of assholes. So I am here to right the wrong of my brothers and sisters and tell you the truth and what really happened. We're going to start with a few grim tales. First, Rapunzel. Now, try and discard everything you know about the story of Rapunzel so far and keep an open mind here. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful enchantress. She was so gorgeous and graceful and wonderful. She had a fabulous garden just at the edge of a forest. It was there that she grew her fruits, her vegetables, her herbs, her flowers, and it just so happened to be on the edge of town where a couple could overlook into the garden, the private garden of the enchantress. It just so happens that they spied some rampion, and apparently the wife was a fiend for rampion. She was so desperate and so craving that she just kept going on and on and on. She had to have this rampion. So the husband decided to shut her up. He'd climb over the wall and get some. Now bear in mind, they could have just gone to the enchantress and asked politely, you know, use your words. Don't just, go onto private property and steal. That is not how we play here, kids. So, he went over the wall and he collected some rampion, he took it back. The enchantress let this go. It was a first offence. It's not like he'd caused much damage to the place and he'd only taken a little bit, so, you know what? Fair dues, he can have it. Then the cheeky bastard returned the next night. Apparently, she liked it that much, she had to have more. Okay, fair enough, you took the one and, yeah, you enjoyed it. Why not just ask, you know? Why not? Better yet, why not go to the enchantress, say, oh my god, it is so wonderful how you've grown these. Please, give me some advice, give me some tips. Maybe you could give me some seeds and I could grow my own rather than come and steal yours that you've worked so hard on. But no, the selfish couple had to be selfish bastards. So, he returned another night, this time trying to grab a handful. No, that's not how we play here. So the enchantress, she decided to go and teach them a lesson. She wanted to see just how much they wanted the rampion. So she appeared to the man, who screamed in fright, well, possibly delight. She was gorgeous after all. And yes, she said, if you really want the rampion, why don't we make a deal? You can take as much as you want, but in exchange, I take your first child, and I will raise them as my own. I will be a good mother to them. They shall never know pain. The bastard made a deal. The bastard went and traded a vegetable. Yes, rampion is a vegetable. A goddamn vegetable that tastes like garlic or leek. For a child. Really? Parents of the year. So, he made the deal. And not long after, the wife gave birth to a little girl. And the enchantress came to collect. And she did as she promised. She put her away in a tower, kept her safe away from all these miscreants. She didn't really want her picking up all these bad habits. See, the child had no pain. The child had all that she wanted. She was also, ironically, called Rapunzel. Now, Rapunzel is another word for, another name for rampion. So, Rapunzel grew up in the tower, and she was given everything she wanted. The enchantress visited her every day. She was not alone. She always had a guest. And she told her stories as the enchantress brushed her beautiful hair that grew long and was gorgeous. She knew she was going to grow up to be a beautiful woman. But no, the child, like her parents, was just as selfish. She wanted to flounce off into the world. Apparently, it wasn't enough. It just so happened one day that Rapunzel was singing in the tower after the enchantress had left, and a prince happened to be wandering through the forest. Why he was wandering on his own, I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. But yes, he happened to hear the beautiful singing of Rapunzel, and he had to know just who it was that was singing. And he came upon the tower. He explored around the tower, he looked everywhere, in every nook and cranny you can around it. There was no door, there was no window, apart from the very one at the very top. He could not find a way to get inside. Although, if you ask me, that's kind of dodgy. Yes, you can hear a beautiful woman singing, and you have to get to her. Maybe she wanted to stay up there, away from weirdos like you. Like, come on, man, don't just... yeah, no. There's a lot of things weird about that, but let's not go off track here, okay? So, the prince really wants to visit the child. Yes, child, and I'm going to keep saying child because that is going to be very important later on. But he couldn't find a way, so he would visit as much as he can each time, trying to figure a way to get into the tower. Yes, again, very creepy stalker vibes right there. I'm getting you vibes. Well, one day, he happened to see the enchantress come to visit Rapunzel. And he witnessed as the beautiful enchantress shouted up, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." And Rapunzel let down her glorious hair, and the enchantress started to climb. Now, after the enchantress left, the prince had an idea. He thought, you know what, maybe I can try my way and get up there. So, the prince went to the bottom of the window of the tower, and he shouted up, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." And she did. Although, wouldn't you have been a bit concerned if you started to hear a much deeper voice over a more feminine voice? You'd question that. I'd surely question that, but then again, she was a child. So she did. She let him up, and he was instantly infatuated with Rapunzel. And she told him that the enchantress would visit in the daytime, so he should come at night. So that's what they did. And they decided, because she couldn't climb down her own hair, and she wanted to escape, fuck knows why, he would bring a piece of cloth each time that he came, so that she may tie it together and make a rope to climb down. Well, it just so happened that one day, when the enchantress came to visit, Rapunzel let slip when she pulled her up. She was wondering why the enchantress was so light to pull up, whereas the prince was much so heavier. "The who?" the enchantress inquired. And that's when Rapunzel really let out. She told her that apparently a prince was turning up every night, and they were, getting cozy. The enchantress, hearing this, was utterly displeased. Rapunzel, she was 12. She was 12 years old, and she was getting it on with this older guy that was sneaking his way into the tower window. No. 12 years old. When I was 12, the only head I knew were the ones that I was aiming at in dodgeball. Here she was, getting it on. Fucking children. Right, so the enchantress decided, you know what? Okay, fine. You want to be an adult, you want to be independent. Go! Why don't you go then? So she let Rapunzel out, and she left her to wander about, and she ended up in the deserts. And that's where she gave birth to twins. So the prince, the next night, after Rapunzel had been sent away, came to see Rapunzel again. So before Rapunzel left, the enchantress decided she would cut her hair. And she used it as a ladder, a rope ladder, to bring the prince up. She really wanted to see who this guy was and give him a piece of her mind. So the prince climbed up, and here's where she gets painted as a bad guy. She did nothing wrong. She did not do anything wrong. As soon as he entered and he saw that the enchantress was there instead of Rapunzel, the daft bastard decided to jump the fuck out the window. She did not push him. She didn't even get a chance to give him a piece of her mind. He jumped out of the goddamn window, landed in a thorn bush, and blinded himself. You know what? Enchantress was just like, I am so done with this shit. I raised that child, I gave her everything she wanted. What the hell is wrong with the people in this area? I don't know. Fucking humans, right? So, the prince fell out of the tower, or jumped out of the tower, idiots, to get away from the enchantress. Fuck knows why, she was gorgeous. And yes, he was then left to wander the forest, blinded. Which completely baffles me because, come on, the prince has disappeared from the castle, he has not returned. Do you not think someone would send someone out to try and find him? But no, apparently he wandered enough to be able to hear a familiar singing voice. And that's when he came across Rapunzel with their twins. And that's how it ended, folks. A blinded prince wandered a forest, found his child bride with their children, and yeah, the enchantress just carried on with her shit, you know, growing more rampion. She'd probably be best cutting off the hands of the thieves next time, I think, rather than put up with that little shit.